Men like my great-grandfather left behind the beautiful Dalmatian coast to follow their dreams of a better life in a new world. And this is what they found. This miserable wasteland. The old fellas called it hell. It gave up its gold, kauri gum, and the odd settler made it big. From this mud, a new tribe was born, Tarara Māori, the Dalmatian settlers and the Northland Maoris. I've been called a number of things in my time, plastic Māori, plastic Croatian, but I like to think of myself as a cross between a kauri tree and an olive tree. Six of us are on a personal journey around New Zealand to rediscover some of the cultures that make us all Kiwi. The story of the Dalmatians in New Zealand is one of rags and riches, Kiwi jokers, plonk pioneers, breaking rocks and rock and roll, enemy aliens, te papa, tarara, Sky Tower and Pluto.
I think that's the Dali way of life, you know, you gotta live it hard or, you know, not live it at all.
Dalis are definitely much more upbeat.
Very ostentatious and boisterous and just out of control. That's us.
Especially the guys, you know. They walk around like everything's theirs.
What?
Rings and a chain round the neck.
Strutting your stuff.
It's a rambunctious, really, really loud
and boisterous people.
Our people are loud.
We're over the top.
Like, hello, I'm here, you know.
and they're just passionate and volatile, and you know, and they're everything you love about life, you know, like it's like a fast car, you know, you gotta drive it fast or else there's no point in having it, you know.
So what exactly is a Dalmatian, apart from a cute spotty dog? The name's a grab bag for the people of the Dalmatian coast of what we now call Croatia. In a way, Auckland is like one big Delhi village. I've heard in the late 19th, early 20th centuries, whole extended families uprooted themselves and planted their village life here. And it's around about here where the heart of that village was, in Auckland's Victoria Street. Spoman Plocker. I think that means memorial of some sort or a plaque. It commemorates their courage, their relentless toil, their commitment to their families and contribution to the making of New Zealand. The making of New Zealand. I mean, construction was in their blood. It was Delhi's sweat that built the foundations of this.
It wasn't till I was 18 that I realised just how many bloody delis there were in Auckland. You've got a bit of a mafia, a deli mafia almost behind you. Not that it operates like that, but you feel you've got brothers, a brotherhood, so that's where a social confidence came from.
From up here you can see the road out along Tamaki Drive, the sea walls and the construction by the delis. And out west, vineyards along what they call Deli Alley. So what's a Māori fella doing talking about Mediterranean settlers from half a world away? I'm Ngāpuhi on my mother's side, but I'm also Croatian. My dida or grandfather came out from a little island off Split called Korčula, married a Maori wahine, and here I am. And this is a story of hundreds of Kiwi families. Heaps of the old delis married into Māori, not European families. But why? What brought them together? And what makes that Māori-Dalmatian mix work?
When you get like two different cultures that are 20,000 kilometres apart but have been taught the same family values and they stick together and they laugh and they know how to relax and take time out, you know, all the values are there.
The Yugoslav Deli boys and the Māori woman. In fact, a number of the women had several kids to different boys. So they were really hard workers. They were good with the gum spear, and they obviously were good with other apparatus as well. The word tarara, I was told, originated with the original delis. And all our people could make out of their language was ta-da-da-da-da-da-da.
Taradas is what they call them because we spoke so fast, you know, blah, 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 and that's what they call us, tarara.
When I was 16, faking my ID going into bars. And there's this beautiful Māori bouncer at the doors, and we're like giggling about our IDs. And so he looks at our IDs and we're like, oh yeah, we've just been to 2 other clubs, you know, and he's like, Dobro večer, cure, da vam vidim IDs. And we're like, oh my God.
There's a very strong crossover between Dalmatians and Māori, which is figured by the relationship with the land.
Believe it or not, my great-grandfather was Dalmatian. Came out here in the 1870s as a gum digger, turned builder.
I'm a grandson of Dalmatian settlers who came out here. My grandfather came out here as a young teenager, a gum digger.
So I'm Yugoslav, although I was born in Wellington. You know, Dad was basically from that part of the world.
The Dalmatia my dida left behind is stunning. A hot tourist spot these days. You've got to wonder what drove the Delhis from their beautiful Mediterranean home and drew them halfway around the world to New Zealand.
The fact of the matter is, of course, you can't eat the scenery, can you? Got to put food in people's mouths, yeah.
The land was very harsh, very rocky, very difficult to produce from.
They usually chose a member of the family, usually the oldest son or something like that, and sent him off to the new world to try and make a better life and help people at home, which is basically what my father's story was.
The 1880s and 90s saw the main influx of Delhis into New Zealand. At that stage, they were ruled over by the Austro-Hungarian Empire, whose trade pact with Italy had pretty much bankrupted villages overnight. Wine cellars and fish baskets were groaning with produce they couldn't get rid of. Crops were failing. The plague was wiping out whole families. Those that were left were poor, politically oppressed, and without a chance to improve their lot. Of course they left if they got a chance to.
Boy, come to New Zealand. I mean, hard work got you somewhere, and ultimately you became a New Zealander.
For most, this is how they did it. Kauri gum. Way back, my tupuna used to take it soft from the tree, and there you go, chewing gum. But great reserves of this hard, fossilised stuff lay beneath the earth where ancient kauri forests once were. After the real gold rush had dried up, kauri gum was briefly the new gold. There was a lucrative market in Europe and the US where the resin was used to make varnish in lino.
Now, Marta, my grandfather, was one of those. And he came out about 1905. He started work the day he arrived.
My father, Sam, on his first dig, he was instructed to move to a water hole, dish out all the water with a flax bag. He made a flax bag and dished out all the water, and then they told him to get in there and dig with up to his thighs in mud. But he felt if this is what it required to earn money to get his father out of debt, this is what he would do.
My granduncles, they were the gum buyers. And whilst they were selling that gum, the cousins would sneak around the back. And by the time the old Delhi had managed to take the gum he had just sold around the back, a few hours later they'd go and get it and bring it back again and sell it to him again. Once he worked out what they were doing, a very funny expression entered the Māori lexicon, which meant udriga, udriga. And in Māori it means kapatuahue. In English it means if I catch you, I'll skin you alive.
We lived in shacks, no water, no power, and the lining was gum sacks.
As he earned more money, he wanted to be his own master and buy his own land and do his own thing.
This is what I hear again and again. You could hack the hardship because there was a dream keeping you going. The dream of owning land. Sometimes they'd buy the bogs. You know, the very same holes in the ground they had previously dug for gum.
I know from my parents and my grandparents that land was regarded as wasteland. The Delhis themselves had turned them into great farming estates. They did it with back-breaking, tedious toil, and I'll doff my cap to them any time of the day or night.
Who would have thought that after a couple of generations the Delhis would be MPs, academics, beauty queens, novelists, artists, sporting heroes, that they'd dominate the wine and fishing industries. Hell, they're even in the Kiwi Rich list.